Getting ready, almost there. Let's go over here to say hello. Oh, where's my webcam? It's off. Webcam is off. Okay. What's going on with this? You can tell I haven't streamed in a while. um, webcam. Why isn't it turning on? Well, apparently I don't have webcam today. So let's just jump right over to the game. Which we have up and running. Which, as you can see, I don't like having the music on in the background. It just gets repetitive. So I just turned that off real quick. So this is somewhat of a tutorial. I know there's a ton of tutorials out there, but I wanted to show what I've been doing to plan my flights. As you can see in my account, actually, I am 2 hours shy of 100 hours. I'm not going to hit that tonight. I'm going to just do a short hop down from Charlotte down to Atlanta. So we won't hit that tonight, but we'll hit that tomorrow. So my favorite site to plan flights is called simbrief.com, and you can see it's already logged me in. But what it does is it gives you a flight plan very similar to what you get at an airliner. So what you do is you go to the dispatch menu and you choose the very first item, dispatch system. Of course, it says I've logged off, but whatever. Okay. And then obviously you want to create a new flight. So we're going to do that. And it's got a lot of stuff in here. Fortunately, you don't have to deal with most of it. Most of it's automatic. If you want to make your plane into an airline, like you have say you have the American Airlines livery on your A320, you could change this to AAL, and you could even choose a flight number. I just use my call sign since I'm general aviation. So tonight we're going to go from Charlotte, which is KCLT, IAO code, and we're going to fly down to Atlanta, which is KATL. And you can see SimBrief automatically generates the alternate. You always want to have an alternate airport for you in case there's an emergency. Of course, it's a sim, so you're not going to have an emergency, but it does that for you automatically. One thing you want to do, though, and I forget sometimes over here in your options, units are defaulted into kilograms, but the sim is in pounds. So you want to make sure to change the kilograms to pounds before you generate. If you have favorite aircraft like I do, you can save the airframes. So you can see they're all listed down here. So I like to use the longitude. So here's my longitude. I've also got the default A320 and the A320neo, which is a modded A320 that's more realistic. So we have that. So I choose the longitude and it automatically loads the longitude in. It's got my registration, November 1 Tree Bravo Mike. The 1 tree is for my wedding date, October 13th, and the BM is for my wife, Brooke Maxwell. So we only have a 1 hour, 15-minute flight time, so we don't want to have too high of a altitude. So I'm just going to do, let's say, 230 for my altitude. And the ARAC cycle, this kind of is what drives your GPS system, ARAC. And because I subscribe to this system called Navigraph, I'm able to get the most current ARAC cycle files, which is 2014 current. And you can see, it's already got these what are called waypoints. You've got your standard departure, Bob Z4 departure to the Tinsley transition. And then you have a Levi waypoint. And going into Atlanta, we have the Aussie 1 transition or arrival. So there are other options that you can choose on the right. I usually just go with default unless I'm following along a specific flight, which you can do that. I'm not going to show how to do that here. So now in order to generate your paperwork, you just go to generate OFP. I think that stands for official flight plan, but that could be wrong. And you can see it's generating the package, it might be flight package. And I like to open the PDF. And again, a lot of mumbo jumbo, but you'll soon start to understand this area on the right, especially if you're in the A320. It'll give you some important numbers that you'll need to input into the control computer. My longitude doesn't have that. It's all automated, which is one of the reasons I fly it. Another important number is your block fuel, which is down here. And then you've got your full route along with potential runways. And then further down, you've got your weights that you need to input into the aircraft. So we've got that, and they've also got it on the website here. You got your block fuel, your tow weight. Those two are all you need to change in the aircraft. So now, in order to get the airplane ready, you need to go to World Map. And I actually use a program, I forgot to download it. I use a program called Sim Brief Downloader, which automatically downloads the flight plan that I just created into files that I determine. One for the flight simulator and one for vPilot, which I'll show you in a minute. So it's downloaded. So now, first what you would do, of course, is go to your plane. And you can see I've already got my livery. I really like this cream color livery for the longitude. We want to go to balance, weight balance. And let's double check our block fuel is 4,897 pounds. So we want this number, fuel, to be close to 4,897 pounds. So you move the fuel gauge down until you get close to that number. It may not exactly match it, so we're at 36%. Let's see what 34% is. That's really close. Let's just go with that. And then our tow weight is 30,600. So you can see we're at 29,900, so we need to add a little bit of weight. What was it again? 30,600. That's probably as close as we're going to get. Let's see what 19% does. Very finicky. I wish you could just type the percentage in, or better yet, type the exact weight you want. I think I'm just going to leave it there. Then you click on the picture again to go back to your world map. Then to load my flight plan in, click load and save at the bottom. Of course, it brings up the window over here. And it defaults to this file, but I like to use my documents file folder. And I have a flight plans here. And I go by date modified. You can see I've gone on a lot of flights. And here's my flight I just created, the KCLT, Kilo Charlie Lima Tango to Kilo Alpha Tango Lima. All right. And here it is loaded in. But you can see it defaults us to a runway. And I don't want to start at a runway. I want to start at a gate. So I like to start in Charlotte. I like to start at gate 15 because it's closest to the runways. And on your arrival, you can leave it blank because you'll find out what your arrival, actually, you'll find out what your arrival runway is going to be in flight, en route. You can see this is only a 34-minute flight. Make sure your cruise altitude was set correctly, which is 23,230. And for flight conditions, we're on live, so we will see the multiplayer and live traffic. All right, so let's click fly and load it up. So as that's loading, I'm going to bring up a program that I use in lieu of the air traffic control that's built in called vPilot. Now, there's not always the air traffic controllers logged in my area, so that's when I use another program called Pilot to ATC. So either way, I just don't like using the built-in traffic controller system because it always has you it always has you descend at like the worst possible, like you're almost at the airport that you're arriving at, and it's like, oh, you need to descend 500,000 feet. So come on, load up. I don't know why of course it's taking forever to load up tonight. And I have to be at the airport before I can launch this. Okay, here we go. Click ready to fly. And boom, we're in. So now I can connect to vPilot. November 1 Tree Bravo Mike, yep. And the airframe I'm on is actually the C700. I don't use a SQL code. Let's go ahead and connect. Now I need to load my flight plan with vPilot, so let's go ahead and load that up. Same flight plan, 17th tonight. You see it has a .vfp, and it loads up the same information for vPilot. And it looks like the air traffic controller logged off. Yeah, it looks like he logged off, so I'm not going to be able to use vPilot tonight. That's a bummer, because I really wanted to show that off. All right. So in order to use Pilot to ATC, you need to launch a kind of like a bridge that talks to the sim, and that's this FSU IPC7. So all you're going to see is a little splash screen. You may not even see it on, yeah, it doesn't even come up on this monitor. It's just a splash screen and it's running in the background. That's all it does. So now I can launch Pilot to ATC. So I can go ahead and do that. Oh, come on. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and launch my pushback helper. Because I don't use the game ATC, I need the, why isn't this window closing? Ooh, I'm not getting very good frames here. I may not be able to stream this, but we'll see. Let me just get some of the engine. Let's get some of the system going. All right, so for the longitude, the first thing you need to do is open your batteries. So left, right batteries.
System test. Okay.
Get some lighting. Lighting's up here on the roof. Panel lighting and flood lighting. Alright, we need to get the engine generators going. And let's get the APU, sorry, started. And what that's going to do is going to rev up here. You can see down at the bottom, it's going to rev up to 100%. And that helps you get your engine started. Alright, so I think, yep, while that's going, Pilot to ATC launched. So this is Pilot to ATC. Let's move this over. Yeah, no, it's a lot of stuff going on. and I don't understand how you would play this game without more than one monitor if you want to do this. Load in the flight plan that I just made. Sometimes it takes a minute. So by now, we are at 100%. So we need to turn the APU generator on, standby power on, bus tie is open. So that's it for electrical to start up the plane. Wow, it's really taking a minute to load. I haven't been paying attention to anything in chat either. I need to move my chat window over so I can actually see it. I actually have 2 people watching. Who else is watching? Say hi on the chat. I moved the chat over, so. Come on, pilot to ATC, don't die on me now. Bruh. This is not good. What is going on? How's the audio on the mic? And can you hear the plane engine? Or the APU generator, rather? JP? So I may not even be able to use here we go, finally. Come on. It didn't load anything else. What is this thing doing? It's never been this slow. In the future, I might have to load this up before I even start my stream, because this is ridiculous. Someone else is watching besides you, John. I don't know who it is, unless Cass is watching on her own screen. Cool. Alright, so... Well, this sucks. I don't think I'm comfortable using Pilot to ATC the way it's not wanting to work. So let's just go ahead and turn that off. I'm gonna have to use, unfortunately, the game's built-in ATC, which I do not want to do. I can't read this from my other monitor. Let's try one more time with Pilot to ATC. One more time. To the main folder. They do recommend you download it to its own folder, not to the program folder. Let me open it as an admin. Maybe that was my problem. So we can go ahead and get started with the engines then. APU is on, parking brake is set. So all we have to do for the longitude is open the button guard on, actually first go up to your lights, make sure your recog light is on, so the guys outside know you're turning the engine on. And then we're going to open the button guard, run, and then engage. What that does is, you can see we've got a few gauges to monitor as it spools up. Your most important are going to be your N2 and your ITTC and your N1%, these 3. Actually, I downloaded a checklist, which I haven't used in this flight, but Engine start. The M2 should be at 55 or greater and stable. Oil pressure should be greater than 50 psi and stable. One thing that I did forget to do is open the fuel shutoff valve. But usually I use that checklist. ATC, pilot to ATC is still loading. It takes forever to load. Alright, so this is stable. We're looking good. Of course, it's a simulator, so it's not going to bail on us. Let's go back down to my engines shot here and spool up engine 1. For some reason, pilots like to start engine 2 first, not engine 1. I don't know why. I don't know what the logic is behind that, but that's what they do. So that's spooling up now. Let's try this again, and if it doesn't work, we'll just use the game. Oh. Why did it have the top of descent way up here? Get that. Alright, so engine 1, it looks good. Vats are juicing up. Vat A will have negative charge, Vat B will have positive charge. Oil pressure is over 50 and stable. N2 is over 55 and stable. And everything is green. Everything being green, that's our main concern. Let's go down to the flight plan computer. I like to make sure my flight plan is loaded in because sometimes it does get buggy and not want to load in. On my procedures, all I have is my departure and arrival, since I've not been yet assigned a runway to land at. I don't have an approach to log in. Speed bugs I always turn on. VR, that's your rotate speed, or when you can take off, so 128 knots. Landing 135. I usually land around 130 just to be safe. That's all I do for that. Go over to the pilot MFD. Make sure nav source is tuned to the flight management system, otherwise it's going to not follow your predetermined route. That's all I think I need to change there. Let's go back to the GPU. Everything's good. It's eating fuel now. So if pilot to ATC doesn't want to work, hey, look at that. It loaded. Okay. So now we can connect to the pilot to ATC network. The only thing that is kind of off-putting...
Charlotte Douglas International Information Whiskey, 252 Zulu, winds are 237 at 8 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 8.
So the ATIS sometimes will...
1,000 few clouds.
Launch automatically.
Temperature 4, dew point -2. Current altimeter is 2988. Arriving and departing runway 18 left, 18 right, 18 center.
18, okay.
Charlotte
right.
Douglas International Information Whiskey, 252 Zulu, winds are 237 at 8 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 8,000 few clouds. Temperature 4, dew point -2. Current altimeter is 2988. Arriving and departing runway 18 left, 18 right, 18 center.
Okay. I really don't use that
Charlotte
information,
Douglas International
as a pilot, you're
Information
supposed to know
Whiskey,
it.
252 Zulu, winds
Alright, come on.
are 237 at 8 knots. Visibility 10 miles. 8,000 few clouds. Temperature 4, dew point -2.
Okay.
Current altimeter is 2988.
Switch over.
Arriving and
Oh, it's the
departing
same.
runway 18 left, 18 right, 18 center. Charlotte Douglas International Information
really
Whiskey,
not.
252 Zulu, winds are 237 at
It's
8
not
knots.
working. This is a
Visibility
bummer.
10
This is a
miles. 8,000 few clouds.
But we can deal with
Temperature
it.
4, dew.
There's a workaround. Okay. So now we have to go to the options here. Actually, the options, assistance. Because I have it turned off, I need to turn it back on. ATC voices on. Alright, so turn
Charlotte
on
Airport information, Quebec 03000
So
Zulu.
they're on Quebec.
Wind 23814. Visibility 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,000 feet, few clouds at 4,600 feet, few clouds at 11,500 feet.
It's
Temperature
very cold, so
4,
we need the pitot heat.
dew point 10. Altimeter 29.88. ILS runway 23 in use. Landing and departing runway 23. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
Go ahead and change that.
Advise controller on initial contact. You have Quebec.
Go to clearance. And let's request clearance.
Clearance delivery Cessna November 1 Tree Bravo Mike ready to copy IFR clearance to Atlanta.
Cessna November 1 Tree Bravo Mike is cleared to Atlanta Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 23 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 120.05 squawk 6423.
Alright, 6423. And we need to call it back. Acknowledge.
Cessna November 1 Tree Bravo Mike cleared to Atlanta Airport is filed.
Change the
Takeoff
stop
runway
code.
23 climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
Active.
Departure on 120.05 squawk 642
12005 is the
Cessna
radio
Tree
frequency
Bravo
that
Mike
your
readback is correct.
departure is going to be on.
Contact ground on 121.8 when ready to taxi.
Alright, we're ready to taxi. To the ground. We need to push back first, so let's go ahead and push back. Get an outside beat for that. I need my lights. I haven't turned my lights on. So... got landing. Actually, we don't need the landing lights. Taxi. Pulse. Anti collision. It's nighttime now, so we need the floodlight. Arm emergency LTs. Actually, the landing lights do need to be on as we're taxiing. Alright, request pushback.
Charlotte Ground Cessna November
Now
1
you can
Tree
see
Bravo
the
Mike
plane.
requesting pushback.
And there's me in the plane.
Cessna
with my
November
co-pilot.
1 Tree Bravo Mike pushback request accepted.
Now this pushback animation they have is horrible. Oh. Okay. Let me restart. Would help if I turn